Magic players, back again with some modern on a budget, and today we're going to be talking about a very, very funny deck. And it's kind of like the Tybalt's Trickery before Tybalt's Trickery was a thing, and it's not as broken. Anyway, so the list, as you can see, is $1, and it's 7 cents on Magic Online. And it's a very funny deck, which is, as you might be able to see, we have a second tab open. So we have one that we actually care more about our budget. But this is the absolute bare bones list of this wacky combo. So the idea is you mulligan until you get Treasure Hunt in your opening hand. You can mulligan down to 1 card as long as you get Treasure Hunt in your opening hand. I only have 3 of these in here because if you go 4, it really kind of hurts the combo, which I know that's really risky, or it might seem really risky, only having 3 in your deck if you're trying to mulligan to it. But really, you really need it to be 3. Anyway, so the idea is that we're running 56 lands and says it's a sorcery. Reveal cards from the top of your deck until you reveal a non-land card. Then put all cards revealed this way into your hand. So we're going to flip over until we either get another Treasure Hunt or one of Zombie Infestation. Now we have 4 spells in our deck, so this is probably going to draw us a lot of cards. The downside is that we might run into, we might cast our first one and then flip into a Zombie Infestation on top of our deck, or 2 cards in. The hope is that you hit another Treasure Hunt and then a Zombie Infestation later, or at least a bunch of cards with your Treasure Hunt and then a Zombie Infestation then. But the idea is that you draw a lot of cards and then play Zombie Infestation. You're going to have to Treasure Hunt when you have 4 mana available, because you need to be able to do it and cast Zombie Infestation on the same turn if you're going the $1 version of the deck. And this says discard 2 cards, create a zombie token. This can be done during their turn if you play the upgraded version of the deck, which is still budget, by the way. I'll talk about it in a moment. But you're going to have to do this during your turn, but you can discard all the cards you just drew, and then you just create that many zombies. Well, that many divided by 2. But this is just a very... It got a big spike in popularity when the London Mulligan became a thing, but it's a really wacky deck. Anyway, bare bones, $1, guys. $1. Not even that. It's 7 online. Anyway, gonna hop over to the more expensive but still technically budget deck, which has a shenanigan in the sideboard. You'll see we have 15 sideboard cards. This is to make our opponent think that we're bringing in utility, or to make our opponent think that we have an amazing, we're going Tybalt's Trickery, but game 2 we're gonna board in Titan Shift, or any Titan deck. Anyway, but it's really just gonna be 15 lands. Don't go all 15 lands or you'll be sus. Anyway, next version of the deck is 9671 in paper, 4201 online, and it is a much different deck. We do have 4 Treasure Hunts because I kind of decided... Actually, I thought I'd... Anyway, I kind of decided that for the upgraded version, you have more available. You're not trying to just bare bones it at this point. You could run 4 in the cheaper version, but this version of the deck, you might be going a bit longer. The first version of the deck is trying to just do it as fast as possible, but this, we have a lot of utility, so we might need to delay our plan. So having 4 Treasure Hunts is in there for that reason. There is that difference, that in this version of the deck, we're not necessarily trying to combo out on turn 3. We have the ability, but it does have the ability to go longer. So increasing our chance of hitting a Treasure Hunt off of our Treasure Hunt is very nice. We still have the Treasure Hunt Zombie Infestation combo. We only have 1 infestation in this list. You'll notice that there are other versions that run 4 infestations, and I just don't like them. I think that if they manage to remove it, try to just play Luris and play it back from your graveyard. But if they're trying to destroy your infestation, then I don't know. It's kind of like, okay, cool. if they bring in Enchantment Destruction in the second matchup, we actually have a really funny sideboard shenanigan for that. So our opponent is, and if you can read, I don't know if it's blurry, but if you can read, it's actually down there, Thassa's Oracle. But we have Lurrus as a way to replay our Zombie Infestation, but also as a way as it fits in the deck anyway, so why not play it? Anyway, and that's kind of why companions are huge. You can just toss them into random decks. I'm going to go more into what these lands do, but there's a lot of different things. You'll notice a big part of her budget is actually Boseiju, and I'll explain why. But we have 3 Blast Zones because of the huge aggro meta. We might not even make it to combo out, but Blast Zone is able to make it say, hey, we're going to slow down the game a little, but also you're not going to get a board. Then we have Bojuka Bog to deal with graveyard decks. We have Boseiju, which says it comes into play tapped, but you can pay 2 life, tap it, add 1. If that's spent on an instant or sorcery, which it'll be Treasure Hunt, it's uncounterable. Now, this is huge because when we're going up against control decks, they can just counter our Treasure Hunt, or they can counter our Zombie Infestation. If they counter our Zombie Infestation, then we have all the other cards drawn from Treasure Hunt, and then it's like, they can still do that, but it's a risk. It's something you understand when you play a deck like this. But Boseiju is one of those cards where it's the best way you can try to protect your combo. If they counter your Treasure Hunt, they'll probably counter your Treasure Hunt. If they're smart enough to counter your Zombie Infestation, then you're out of luck. Creeping Chill is a way, Creeping Tar Pit is a way for us to recover from the game even if our Infestation is killed, and it's just a way for us to have a 3/2 unblockable. Fairy Conclave is another manland, same reason for Creeping Tar Pit, it also has flying, so that's evasion. Ghost Quarter to deal with pesky lands, or just to slow them down. Hostile Desert, I'm just going to keep going back to Ghost Quarter apparently. Also in this aggro meta game that we are in, this also, if we just say, hey, because some decks like Burn sometimes just like run no basics for some reason, they might run 2 or 3, but also Prowess might also not run those. Either way, this is a way for us to try to stretch how few lands they might have, or at least cut them off of a color. Like in Burn, it would be white. Hostile Desert is exile a land card from your graveyard, and it becomes a man land. You're going to discard cards and turn it into a creature. 18 Islands. Island is really the land we need. Once we cast 1 Treasure Hunt, we'll draw a black land. If we don't draw a black land, then you're really not having a good time. Then you're not having, like, there's so many ways to get that black mana. It's just, if you don't draw black mana off of Treasure Hunt, you're probably not winning anyway, because you're probably having the unluckiest game ever. Then we have Refuge, which is a way for us to get black mana, but also gain a bit of life. Reliquary Tower as probably the biggest inclusion to the deck. If you're to make this deck like a $10 deck, have the Treasure Hunt, Zombie Infestation, the first card I recommend adding is Reliquary Tower. If you're a Commander player looking to get into Modern, well, don't play this deck, but Reliquary Tower you might already have. Swamp is just because we need to hit that Zombie Infestation. We also have enough black lands where we can reasonably cast Lurrus. And the last land in our main deck is Tomb of Urami, and it's a black land that can create a black legendary, not black 5/5 black legendary demon, and we can just have that on the board and hopefully swing out with that. Hopefully they don't have removal. Now, for our sideboard, the biggest thing in our sideboard is we're going to be taking out that Zombie Infestation game 2. We're going to be bringing in Thassa's Oracle. So the idea is that we're going to mill ourselves out with our Treasure Hunts. When we do this, we do want to go back down to that 3 Treasure Hunts, depending on the matchup. But that's just because we need to go through our deck as fast as possible. Because in Zombie Infestation, you just need to draw as many lands as you need until you have lethal through zombies, where Thassa's Oracle, you need to mill your entire deck. So, you take out Zombie Infestation, bring in Thassa's Oracle, they bring in Enchantment Destruction, no longer relevant, and you are able to win just from milling yourself out. We do have Deserts, deal 1/2, target attacking creature. Do this only at the end of combat step. This is just for us to deal with really tiny creatures, which there might be a lot of. Drowning Our Temple is a way for us to discard it and then play it. Field of Ruin for more land destruction if near dead lands, as a way to have more removal by putting -1/-1 counters down. Mystifying Maze as a way for us to kind of like stop incoming damage if we're really trying to play a slower game. Nephalia Drown Yard as a way to have an alternate win condition of milling our opponents or even milling us. Scavenger Grounds for Graveyard Hate if Bojka Bog's not enough, and we do have that Thassa's Oracle. Anyway, it's a very simple deck. I'm going to be putting both of these deck lists in the description, and it's really funny. You can play this, and any casual friends you have will just hate it. They'll be like, why? It's so dumb, so boring. Why would you play that? But at a more of an F&M kind of thing, or a tournament random thingy-mabob online, you might just catch people off guard. They'd be like, oh, it's this. But maybe they're not prepared for it. If they're a control deck, they might happen to be prepared for it. And if they're an aggro deck, they might just go right past you. The hope is that you are able to win before that happens. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, please let me know down below in the comment section. If you want to see more decks that just are kind of like weird in the metagame, or you just want to see like some dumb combo be played, let me know. I will look into it. I'll do my best to make a video on it. I love really funny ideas. I love goofy ideas. If you want to see more content, please hit that subscribe. And by the time this is published, I will have actually been on the morning show over at Nikachu MTG. I'll put the link in the description. Go visit his website. Not his website, his YouTube channel, because he's an amazing content creator. He actually helped me a lot into getting into Modern, not really Modern, but into creating content for Modern, and he gave me a lot of YouTube advice, and he's really good. He specializes in Merfolk, so if you want to see more Modern content, that is a channel I really recommend. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the deck, and I will see you next time.